Hi, it's me again with Corel Tips and Tricks. Somebody sent me this pretty sharp image. They don't want the rivets, and you could go a lot further, but I got it pretty close. The main thing he wanted was the shape, and he was having trouble with the bevel on the coloration. So, and for the one I'm doing it for, I made it quite a bit smaller. I'm going to trace bitmap, outline trace. We're just going to get the shape of the item now. And I'm going to take this and hit P, put it in the center of the page. Whoop. Move my other one. Whoop. Let me go ahead and group that together. Control G. And then hit P and put it in the center of the page, which right now really doesn't matter. But we've got the shape. So I'm going to take a rectangle and I'm going to get the shape by taking the Smart Fill tool, set on any color, and there you have that shape. Now, this shape needs to be cleaned up a little bit. So we're just going to delete all this. Hit P, put that in the center of the page. And if we look at it a little close, it's got a little garbage up here. So what I'm going to do, this side looks like it has more nodes. So I'm going to take a 2-point line, holding down the control button, and I'm going to hit P. I'm going to get the virtual segment delete key. I'm going to just delete that. Now I've got an indexing line, so I can go ahead and delete that other line. And we need to correct this right here. So I'm going to take and remove some nodes, and this looks like a straight line. So I'm going to take away all the nodes and then select these two nodes, and I'm going to right click and I'm going to put to a line. And then, I mean, you could redraw that very easily, but if we take the shape tool, as long as we don't change the shape too much, and it's really pretty, it's not bad at all. Whenever you see an arrow like that, right there, that's your end. Kind of messed up the shape a little bit there. So we could always take this and move it back up. And, you know, you could bring it back over to your item to see how close it is, but I think we're good. Control D and make a duplicate, mirror it over. I might have a leak, so I'm going to take a rectangle. I don't have a leak. So there's our new shape. A little sharper, a little crisper. Go ahead and delete all this. Hit P, put that in the center of the page. And I'm going to get that border. I'm going to go to Effects and Contour. I'm going to contour just 1/4 of an inch. I'm going to go ahead and break the contour part, which really doesn't matter in this case. But I'm going to make 2 copies of this. I'm going to make that copy there, and then I'm going to make another copy here. And I'm going to get my bevel tool and select this one and go up to Object and go to Effects and Bevel. We're going to bevel just 0.05 of an inch. And you could play around with this a lot with the color. I don't do much beveling. And I don't know, if he's going to print it, you want to use CMYK. Nope, that was terrible. Let's just go back to the way it was with a lighter color. Corel does that. I wish I could I never do Pantone. Wish I could just delete it. You know what? I wonder if we put a little bit of yellow. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Yeah, that looks a little bit better than my first one because it makes it darker there. So now the reason I did this and the problem he's having, the interactive fill tool will not work on a bevel. Well, it's working on a bevel. So let's put that, well, what's going to happen? Let me get that gold back. See, it's not going to change the bevel. So what you do this one. And we'll get the interactive fill tool. Swipe across and put that gold up here. Now I'm just going to double click and it'll put gold. And you could spend a lot of time on this and get a little bit closer, and I'm going to get it. But then we're going to take, let me zoom in here. We're going to put white between those. You know what? I wonder if I ought to use a, well, I'm just going to use white. I was going to say if I used a yellow, what would happen? Yeah, maybe that'll work. But he could do whatever he wants to do. I would really like to see this printed, but seeing that it doesn't really work on the bevel, I'm going to show you a little trick because this is pretty pronounced. And you could play and spend a lot of time. Now, because we've nudged, I can nudge that right over, go up to Object, Order Front of Page, but then I can grab my transparency tool and do this, and that way we can see the bevel. I mean, it's not as sharp and gold. I mean, whoever created this is an artist type deal. Now, we're going to take Smart Fill on red. I'm using somebody else's file. So I'm going to fill in this inside with red. I'm going to go ahead and nudge it over, but you can tell it's too bright red. Tell you what, let's bring this over a little closer. And I really wish I could have a maroon. So what I'm going to do is make a box filled with red, hold down the control key and make it darker, kind of like a dark maroon. And then I'm going to grab my interactive fill tool and just grab the center. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take that center out. Oh, that's the original. No wonder it wouldn't work. I still want to take the center out. I don't want to move it. I can move this because I'm not using it. So we're going to take this. Let me zoom in. Interactive fill tool. Swipe across it. Put that red up top. But then take this right here and click on it and go right here to the eyedropper and get that maroon. It could actually be a little darker. Tell you what, let's put a little black there and then make a second one and use the eyedropper for that maroon. Yeah, it kind of casts too much of a shadow. Yeah, that's not going to work. I'm not a big interactive fill tool guy. I love it. I wish someday I could print. Let me move that out of the way. See, that'll make it a little bit darker. That looks pretty good. There is quite a bit darker. Tell you what, let's hold down the control key and make this quite a bit darker. Get back to our interactive fill tool. So select that interactive fill tool and let's put that color in there and actually bring it up a little bit. And like I said, you could play around with this till you get it perfect. That's pretty close. I've never really figured out how they get that gold. And you know, whoever drew this did each piece individually, where mine is all. So you could do that. You could put lines, but that's pretty close. But the transparency tool can really be your friend I mean, we could grab that and make it a little bit more transparent, less transparent, or something like that. Anyway, he was mainly after the shape and couldn't figure out how to blend a bubble. Hope that helped. Thank you for watching.